Good morning, YouTube land. The beard of wisdom has grown in kind of nicely. I actually had something hit me, and anyways, it's a little blood spot there, so don't worry about that. What we're working on now, today, for the first time in a while, is first time in a very long time, is the 7810. So the 7810 not this fall, but last fall, started to develop an issue with heat in the hydraulic oil. So I changed the sensor, the thermal coupler, that heat sensor, changed that out. Didn't change anything. You get going and it gets hot. Then I noticed this spring that when I got into some wet spots, and I hadn't had the four-wheel drive or the front-wheel drive, front-wheel assist it still was turning. You could see that it was throwing dirt. Not as prevalent as it would have been if we engaged it. So there was an issue. Knew there was an issue. Couldn't get to it until now. So basically all spring and summer long we ran it with this issue. We're not doing any heavy tillage with this machine because we don't do heavy tillage with this machine. But I did a lot of spraying with it. It didn't do any hay work with it at all this summer because of that issue. It was parked for the most part all summer long. So anyways, now we're getting into it, and I had an introduction to this video in the shop, but I had a problem with the thing. I had a problem with a full SD card, and with that full SD card I ended up erasing the very first part of it. So basically, I explained everything that I just explained right now in the very beginning of it, and now you're going to get the beginning of this series. And it's going to be a series. I've got it all apart, and I actually went to Deere yesterday and picked up the parts that I needed, which were minimum, but you're going to see me not understand a couple of things in this because I knew that there was something there in the 7410 that is not there. That is not present in this tractor, and for a reason. I'm sure they had problems with the ones that were in the 7410, so they went to this, and now we have these problems as well. But I will tell you, I'm ready for assembly, but you're not going to see that today. You probably won't see it tomorrow. You'll probably see it later. I'm going to try and do this every day, release a video every day up until Christmas, just because, why not, 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house the 7810 was down, and it was just worthless as a mouse. So I tore it apart and videotaped it just for your enjoyment. So here it is. Watch it. All right. So I have the buckets underneath there. They're not clean buckets because I'm just dumping this oil into that waste burner up there, and they're perfectly legal for farm shops and stuff. We put it in a few years ago, and that's how we get rid of our waste oil. It's better than taking it and giving it away to somebody else to burn in their waste oil heater. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Now, let me show you what I got here real quick. So you see that? You see that? The older I get, the harder on my knees it is to crawl around. I don't know why. Not that I can't, but that cold concrete and 52-year-old knees sucks. So we were helping move a couple of friends of ours from church. We were helping them move, right? And they had, get a clean bucket. See how clean that is? We were helping them move, and they had this carpet, and they're like, "Hey, do you want this carpet?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't want that carpet." And they're like, "Oh, well, we're gonna have to find a dumpster or something." Well, I got a dumpster. And then it dawned on me, I'm gonna be crawling around underneath tractors. And you know what? This oil was changed. I think it was changed. I'm gonna have to clean that out. Let's take a look in there. Oh, well, can I look in there? No. Let me clean this thing out. Hold on. Give me a second. I think this oil was changed. I do vaguely remember something. I think I did change it when I changed the filters. and we haven't used it since, but a little bit, so give me a minute. All right, so a little bit of gasoline, and you got a clean bucket. It says in the, when you build one, or when you put one of these Who's-Its together, those waste oil burners, don't put gasoline in there. So that was from something else. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. This plug, you see how clean that oil is? You can barely even see it. I know it's clean, it's new. So this plug has an O-ring on it, see? I don't know if you can see that. Just set that thing there. But when I was cleaning out the bucket that I had originally, the gray bucket that was there, I pulled this out of here. It's a copper washer. I don't know where it came from, but I wasn't sure whether it came off that plug or not, so I grabbed it. And, yeah, what do we got here? Oh, yeah, that oil's clean. Let me go pop the cap off the back real quick. So anyways, I was talking about this carpet. You know, you take a carpet like that, right? And so our friends from church, they had this thing, and they didn't know what to do with it. They had to get rid of it. So I was going to throw it in a dumpster, and I thought, you know what, my old ass ain't gonna be able to bend on my knees quite as good as I used to when I was younger. When I was in my 30s, my knees were actually in a lot worse shape than what they are today. And then I learned about magnesium and other things that you can take, and you know, just eating healthier foods. And with my age, I can't eat crappy food, so it really wasn't that hard to make the conscious decision to now give up sugar, which I feel great after that. You wouldn't believe. I've been off of sugar now for a little over 10 days. Maybe it's almost 2 weeks. Do I miss sugar? Kinda, sorta, but not really. It's just a lot harder to drink coffee without sugar, because I was always I liked my coffee sweet. I don't like black coffee. Well, I realized that it's not that I don't like black coffee. I just never tried it. And personally, I could give up coffee. Well, you're just going to have to look at this while I'm dumping that oil. I can give up black coffee, or coffee altogether. But I decided, oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with that oil. That oil's good. So I'm drinking my coffee now without any sugar or any cream. It's black. Now, I feel good. My joints are good. I have no shaking whatsoever. I always thought that it was the caffeine that would make you shake, right? Well, honestly, that's not true. It's the sugar. So I did some research on sugar as I was getting away from it. Sugar goes right to the bone marrow, and it causes the bone marrow to not produce, well, you see, your immune system comes from your bone marrow, right? And sugar takes the ability of your bone marrow to function properly, and you then start to lose your ability to fight off simple things like a cold and things like that. Well, in the wintertime, I drink a lot more coffee, it seems, because it's cold outside. We'll go places, the wife will be like, hey, you want to get a cup of coffee? And yeah, sure, and I'll have not 1 cup of sweet coffee or 2 cups of coffee. I find myself, I don't like to drink soda. I like soda, but I know that soda is not good for me, so I don't drink it regularly. But I was finding myself drinking soda, and we started eating ice cream at night as a dessert, and I gained some weight. So 10 to 12 days ago, when I decided I was done with sugar, I stopped eating ice cream. I am down. I was 232 pounds, and I am 224.5 pounds today. I'm eating like my regular food that I eat, which is a higher protein diet than what most people would think. I still take my vitamins, and I stopped eating fruit because fruit is modified. Most people don't realize this, but when you go to that healthy snacks aisle and you buy apples for your children and for yourself, and you buy, say, some watermelon, cherries, sweet corn, and all that stuff, all of those staples or vegetables, fruits, vegetables, are modified from their original form. They are modified to be sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. So when I was a kid, Silver Queen sweet corn was like the new thing on the block. You know, it was like everybody had Silver Queen. Bicolor came out a little bit later, and then Silver King. But they were sweet. It was sweet corn, and it was kind of sweet, but it wasn't super sweet. Today's sweet corn, the ultra modified sweet corn that tastes so incredibly sweet, if you're eating that, you may as well just take a 5-pound bag of sugar and dump that in your water and just drink that, because that's what you're getting. Apples, you know, super sweet apples. I remember when Yellow Delicious and Red Delicious apples were like the sweetest apples you could get. Today, most people don't even look at that apple variety because it's not sweet enough for them. Yeah, so I stopped eating sugar. My joints have 0 aches and pains in them. No more twitching muscles. I'm going to England to go to Lama. I've discussed this before on the channel. And every time I go to England, I get sick. Did you hear that noise? It scared the shit out of me. This barrel expanding. I get sick, always. I just get sick. And I don't like getting sick. But it happens. I get sick. So the sugar inhibits your body's ability to produce bone marrow, which also is where your immune system is derived from, the bone marrow. That's why when people get like leukemia, they get bone marrow transplants, because your body's and that's a very painful process, but that's for your immune system. Your immune system gets severely compromised because your body can't produce bone marrow. But no doctor's going to tell you, hey, stop the sugar and your body will start to heal itself better, easier, and you're going to lose weight without any effort. I'm not out of breath as much as I used to be when I would take long walks. And I thought that was just part of getting older because I'm sitting in a truck all the time. But, nobody wants to be out of breath. That sucks. Let's see, how many of these are there? 1, 2, 3. And I think that'll work. I can pop that off of there. And I got to take that drive shaft completely off. I think I have to take that drive shaft completely off. But there's like 3 bolts here that you can't see, but they're right above you. And I think 15 gallons is going to be plenty. So I don't have to babysit this thing anymore. If you don't know how I got light under here, I just would like to turn the camera around real quick. And you can see, this is actually something I bought a few years ago. I am not sponsored by anyone or anything, but that thing is a Milwaukee. And let me tell you, I really like that light. It's really good for what we do when we're crawling around in the dark at night. You can just take that lantern. You can you can hook that up to 220 power. It will charge the battery, and it'll run off of 120 power. Charge the battery, and you'll have light. You can daisy chain them together. Like if you had 10 of them, you can put extension cords all the way around, and they'll charge the 10 batteries then off of 120, and then will provide LED light. Oh yeah, cool. So that's it for that. All right, so the next thing to do, and I'm going to be doing a lot of talking here for some reason. Oh, look at that. Stupid old farmer, watch this. There it is. So here's these bolts, and it's going to look like that's, I'll get the metric set because I know better. It's going to be metric, and I will go ahead and pop those 3 bolts out. Let me shut you off for that, though. All right. See that little set right there? Got a little story about that set. So that set, it's 15, right? I think it's going to be 13 mil. That set of tools I bought when I was in Illinois. On my way, and it's on YouTube when I bought it, because I was broken down. I was broke down on my way to Iowa to drop off that Oliver 1755 to Jeremy Lee. Now, I haven't spoke with Jeremy in a while, but Jeremy Lee was about 14 or 15 years old at that time, and he was just thrilled to meet with me. I think he bought the tractor. I took it out to him, and then I went on out to Utah, and that was about Thanksgiving. Let's see, that was Thanksgiving, and I think that was in 2012, maybe 13, something like that. I wasn't very long on YouTube at that time, I don't think. Anyway, what we got here? No, we got to go up higher. You can see that. So anyway, so you take these bolts out, you set them here. I'm going to put them, I was going to get a magnetic tray, but I changed my mind because, you know, I'm a glutton for punishment. And let's see what all crap is in there. Okay, so this is how this goes. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that? So you slide it away. Here's the universal. That goes into that drop box. You slide it away forward, and then, come on, then you grab a hold of this and you pull it back like that. And then that exposes everything right there. So now that that's exposed, I can take my metric set, my little metric set here, and slide that up. I think I've got a oil leak there from something. I got to figure that out. I don't know where that's coming from. So there is a little slight oil leak. It might be coming from the front seal there, but if not, I'll figure that out anyway, or it's just something that was there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my carpet, right? And I don't need to have it there. And I'm really happy about this carpet now because it's warm, right? It's warm on the concrete floor. If it gets oil on it, it's no big deal. I can just, you know, say, you know what, I don't care. I don't need to worry about it because it's got oil on it. I just throw it away and get a new piece. But anyway, back to this toolkit that I bought like a bunch of years ago. Oh, that's 10 mil, right? Or is it 9? Might be 9. No, it's 10 mil. It's not 3/8. So what you got to do is take these straps off of these universals. And the problem with these 3/8 it is. Can you believe that? I'd have bet the house that it was not. I'd have bet the farm that that was not a 3/8. I'd have said that it was a 10 mil. Apparently, I would have been really wrong. Yep, it's definitely 3/8. 3/8 is slightly larger than a 10 mil. I was backwards in my thinking because I hate metric. I know that's going to get the Euro guys nuts. Oh yeah, you got to count to 10. I'll count you to 10. You know, it's like, why would you want to do fractions when you can just count to 10? Yeah, you count to 10 on millimeters, and you count to 10 on centimeters, and you count to 10 on... I don't know what a metric foot is. It's a weird... Nobody ever uses it that I ever remember. What's a metric foot? Anybody know what a metric foot is? I mean, they go from millimeters to centimeters to yards, and I think there's like 39... I don't even know. I hate metric so much I don't even want to learn it. You know, it's like, oh, you want metric to work? You know, and hold and fasten like it's supposed to? You know what you got to do? You got to Loctite the f*** out of it. You know why? because metric sucks. That's why. So I never had a universal come loose on the front of these tractors, and now I know why. Because it's U.S. standard. You know, it's standard U.S. Because America the Great, don't have to worry about stupid metric systems. Like, oh, yeah, well, we're not sure whether it's a metric inch, a metric foot, or a metric centimeter. Who the f knows? Excuse my language, I'm sorry. I mean, I know I got some church members that watch this show, and my mouth does get running away. And I'm pretty sure the minister watches too. But so I'm really trying to not curse too much anymore, because I don't want to be in trouble with the minister at all. And the other thing I don't want to do is wear this drive shaft on my teeth, because this thing will just crack you in the teeth. Some of you are probably wondering why I'm not using power tools. Well, I'm not going to use power tools on this, because power tools on this, oops, excuse me, come on, you can't get them in there. You know, and I'm sure there's a power tool of some sort that'll fit in there, but it's not fitting in there right now. I should do this shit live. Where in the heck did that go? Okay. So where did my screw go? Huh? Now, you gotta be really, really, oh, you wanna know something? That was weird. Where'd it go? There it is. That thing just fell right down. Okay, oh, there it is. Sorry about that. We'll just kind of throw those things in the pot there. I'm gonna flip you around like this. All right, let's say we drop you down, and you can see that. So ready? Watch. Here it comes. There it is. Done. That's it. One drive shaft out. Now I'm gonna tell you a story. Be very careful when you're messing with these things. Once upon a time, I had the center pivots on the 7410 were out, so I decided that I would use the front end loader as a jack, right? Yay! We'll jack it up. So I jacked it up. I pulled the pins out of the front here on that tractor. See these pins right there? I pulled those out. I replaced the bushings, and when I replaced the bushings, as I decided that it was a good time to take lunch. Well, while I was at lunch, the loader had settled down, and the front shaft, the drive shaft, or the front pumpkin there, came down and cracked the oil pan. Cracked that sucker. So now you're in a pickle, because what do you do then? You can't start the engine because all your engine oil is down on the ground. You'll ruin the engine if you do that. So you got to lift it back up again. I ended up getting jacks and blocks of wood, blocking the whole thing up, cursing and swearing like a sailor, putting everything back together again, only to have to tear it apart again to put the new oil pan that came in. I put it back together again. So, well, I didn't put the drive shaft on, but I had to put a new oil pan on there. And that oil pan never, ever did not leak. It was just a leaky son of a bitch. The new one was. So there's that. So now you see how the drive shaft comes down. Oh yeah, I shouldn't have ate that in potato chips. The drive shaft is down, and now I'm going to go ahead and remove the bucket of oil that's under there, and I'm going to put that in the 55-gallon drum. So it's a little more than 10 gallons of hydraulic oil, something like 10 gallons of hydraulic oil. I put them in here, in this drum here. Oh, that's the first warning that that thing is running out of power. It'll blink. So I put the engine oil or hydraulic oil back in a high guard barrel. I will mark it with spray paint, used hydraulic oil. I'm going to put new hydraulic oil back in there, and then I can reuse this in this tractor, or the 4450 or the 4960, or even this tractor. But do not ever, I don't recommend putting used hydraulic oil back into a IVT transmission. IVT, if you don't know, in Europe it's called the auto power, but here it's called IVT, which stands for infinitely variable transmission.
Same thing, same tractor, same everything, but that oil is very, very particular when you put it into an IVT. Now, I'm going to tell you, I bought those 2 tractors from England back in 2016, and they were noisy, whiny, bitchy transmissions. This tractor was noisy, whiny, and bitchy sounding. Terrible. It's like, man, give you a headache. Well, I come to find out, I drained that oil out of there, gave it the $1,000 oil change in the 8530. 7530 was like a $450 oil change, and the same with this. This one here is not quite nowhere near as expensive. And I put John Deere High Guard oil back into it, quieted them all down. It was just like, don't, and I repeat, don't put anything in a John Deere tractor that is not John Deere oil. It is designed for the clutches and the transmissions, because if you do something different, you may not realize it, but it's going to cost you a whole lot more than the $5 you saved on that pail of oil. So let me get set up here. I'm going to move my carpet back under there, and I'm going to get a jack. And I'm going to get a jack underneath that box, because I'm going to have to put a jack under it as I drop it down. Maybe. I might just manhandle it. I'm not sure, but that's yet to be seen. So let me get the oil out of here, and then I'll get back to you when I'm pulling the bolts off.